Hi everybody. So this coming week is my favorite holiday. So it is called Shavuot, weeks. We've been counting 7 weeks since Passover, when God took us out of Egypt, to when we encamped, the Jewish people encamped at the mountain of Sinai and get the Torah. We got the Torah. And what's so cool about it, there's so many parts of this that are so cool, of course, but I don't have all day, and neither do you. Although, if you do have time, go check out Chabad.org and H.com, AISH.com, and Chabad, CHABAD.org. They have tons of information there. But anyway, it is the beginning. We do have Abraham and Sarah and the forefathers and the mothers. That, that's where the Jewish people, that's our beginnings. But where it all comes together is at the mountain at Sinai, where God gave us the Torah. And we became not just a bunch of tribes, we became the Jewish people. That's where it all begins. We don't do mitzvot because Abraham and Sarah and Rivka and Isaac and those guys did them. We do them because they were given to us at Sinai. It's cool. Now, also, what's kind of neat is the unity theme. In the Parsha of Yitro, which is Exodus, Shemot, chapter 19, this is the story of God giving us the Torah. And I just wanted to point out a couple things. And it is verse 2, chapter 19. They, the Jewish people, had departed from Rephidim, and they arrived at the desert of Sinai. They encamped in the desert. Israel encamped there, toward the east side of the mountain. Here we go. So, what's interesting about that, Hebrew is fascinating, okay? In Hebrew it says, Vayavo'u midbar Sinai, vayachanu bamidbar, vayichan sham Yisrael neged hahar. So at first it repeats itself. The Torah doesn't repeat itself unnecessarily. And it says, vayachanu, they encamped. And then 2 words later, it says, vayichan. It's singular. Instead of plural, we just said was plural, they encamped. Vayichan sham Yisrael neged hahar. Israel encamped singular by the mountain. So Rashi, who is our foremost commentator, he's in like every chumash that you're ever going to find. He says, what's his commentary on it? Why does it go from plural to singular? Vayichan sham Yisrael keish echad belev echad. Okay? Like one man with one heart. Jewish unity. And it's so hard to come by sometimes. Rashi had to mention it. That we were by the mountain ready to receive the Torah with like one man with one heart. We were unified. And it is something else here in verse 6. Give me 1 second. 7, sorry. Okay, so we're ready to go. God's about to give us the Torah. And the people, this is verse 8, Vaya'anu kol ha'olam yachdav v'yomru kol asher diber Hashem na'aseh, we will do. Yachdav. Okay, so what happens here is God says in the earlier verses there, if you just listen to me, you will be to me a kingdom of ministers and a holy nation. So all the people unified, replied in unison, everything we will do, Yachdav v'yomer na'aseh, we will do. We did it Yachdav, together. Now, Jewish unity is not easy to come by, unfortunately. And it's too bad. Because we're family, so sometimes when you're family, the family irritates a little bit. But we need to hold on to that unity as best we can. And what we see in Shavuot is like one man with one heart, we receive the Torah. Now, a couple other things about Shavuot that I thought was interesting. On Aish.com, there are, I think, 7 reasons why we eat dairy. It's a cool holiday. Go get a cheesecake. We eat dairy on Shavuot. It's a big tradition. It is not halacha. It is not Jewish law, but it is a strong tradition. So why do we do that? The top 2 here was, actually we'll just go with this one. Torah as spiritual nourishment is, let's say, Torah is likened to milk, as the verse says, like honey and milk, the Torah lies under your tongue. Song of Songs. And so just like milk has the ability to sustain the body of a human being, like if you're nursing a baby, so too Torah provides all the spiritual nourishment necessary for the human soul. So as a nod to that, and there's a whole packet of reasons why we do dairy on Shavuot, that's cool. Also, we read the book of Ruth. Ruth is a Jew by choice. Chose, your people are my people, spoke to Naomi. It's a famous story. If you don't know, go look it up. This is a great story. She is the forebearer of King David. King David came from a convert. And people shouldn't think to themselves that converts aren't as Jewish as anybody born Jewish. They're just as Jewish. A Jew by choice is just as Jewish as anybody born Jewish. There's no question asked about that. And we know that. We know that 100% because our King David, the one who's supposed to down the line, who Mashiach comes from, the Messiah comes from, the Jewish Messiah comes from, is King David. If there were any question about converts, we wouldn't have our Messiah come from him. Come from King David, who came from a convert of Ruth. You know, seriously. It doesn't get any better than that, right? Also, very important note, when we get the Torah, God gives it to the Jewish people as a whole. As a whole. He doesn't give it to Moses. Don't read it like that. It's not saying that. You know, he's there. But God gave it to all the Jewish people at the same time. There's no question, oh, someone heard it on the road and they gave it over to the rest of his friends who said, oh, guess what I heard? Well, how do we know you heard that? Or from the top of a mountain. You got some message from God at the top of a mountain, now you're sharing it with us. That's nice, but how do we know you heard that? When God gives it to the entire Jewish people at the same time, we avoid that confusion of how do we know God actually spoke to you? Maybe you were on something, who knows? But to give it to an entire people of approximately 3 million people who were at the mountain, it would be funny to say, oh yeah, 3 million people all heard the same thing at the same time, but it wasn't real. Something happened there, okay? We don't have someone coming to us, oh, guess what I heard? Okay, that's an important point. We are the Jewish people. God gave us all the Torah at the same time. It was not given to Moses to give to us. No, go read the Torah. God gave it to the entire Jewish people at the same time. Okay. Anyway, have a wonderful Shavuot. I think this is a fantastic holiday. I mean, all of them are great, but you know, this one's my favorite. So, I mean, you know, easy cheesecake recipe. I'll have to find one. I'll post it up somewhere, hopefully. Otherwise, just look it up. They're easy. They're easier than you think. It's a trick. People think it's complicated, but it's not. Anyway, and ice cream. There's always ice cream. Here's the easiest ice cream recipe. Get a graham cracker crust, and you melt some ice cream. Scoop it into the crust. You know, make it flat. And then refreeze it, and you have an ice cream pie. Simple, simple. Anyway, there's always lasagna, blah, blah, blah. There's a lot of fun things you could do with this. Anyway, even if you're not a huge dairy person, it can be fun. Anyway, have a wonderful Shavuot. And there's the tradition for anyone interested. Oh my gosh, I almost forgot. Okay, and they read the 10 Commandments at the synagogue. Okay, that is cool. You stand up and they read it. It's so cool. Any Chabad, you can find it, any Chabad, and they might give you ice cream afterward, because that's what Baishol over here does, is they read the 10 Commandments, and then they give you ice cream afterward. Yay! So that's never bad, right? So we are reliving the original giving of the Torah. Is that cool? What else can I remember that I had all these things in mind? Yeah, go look online. Call your local Chabad. It's all there. It's worth it. Go be a part of it. We are the Jewish people. We do things as a community, and we should do it as a community, unified, like one man with one heart. This year especially, we need this. Be unified. Na'aseh v'nishma. We will do, and we will understand, right? And we will hear. All right, have a wonderful holiday, everybody, and see you afterward. Bye.